Yo, it's popping. Man, let's get into it, bro. Let's get this eulogy started. Where my folks at? Killer Cam, what's up, bro? Vivi, what's up? What's up, Lenore? What's going on? We are here for the Warriors eulogy. The funeral's upon us. Our squad didn't come through. They basically got 4-0 without Steph. The season's over. It's a catastrophe. It's sad. It's honestly a little pathetic. I mean, I wasn't expecting them to win a series without Steph, but I was expecting at least one win in 4 tries. That's tough. That's tough. That's tough. Kevin Wells, what's up, bro? Reggie, what's good? I see y'all. Man, new perspective. What's up, bro? I appreciate y'all for stopping here for y'all post game. You know, little. I don't even know what to call it. Little post game, little eulogy, little post game farewell for the season. I appreciate y'all for spending that time with me, man. Let's get into it, bro. So the Warriors season is over. I was expecting them. Honestly, I was expecting them to win tonight. I just thought, backs is against the wall. Maybe a little playoff Jimmy. Maybe 1 or 2 role players to step up and just give us something just to buy Wardell some time. Y'all were 1 game away from Wardell coming back. Just 1 game. Couldn't get it done. Couldn't win 1 game. Blew both games at home. Came on the road. Had the fake comeback. I knew they weren't coming back. I know a fake comeback when I see one. And this is the definition of a fake comeback. Yeah, man. It sucks, bro. Pods came to hoop. Pods had probably like the worst playoff series that you can probably have, scoring a ball offensively for a guy in his position. Just couldn't hit shots, couldn't make layups, just couldn't do anything offensively. But at least he went out swinging. He didn't go out like no sucker. He didn't go out with his tail tucked. He didn't go out just timid and just accepting his fate. He was like, nah, I'm about to show out. I'm about to give my team something. He gave him some juice. I mean, you get, what do you have, 28? You get 28, 6 and 4 from Pods on 11 of 19 shooting, 4 for 6 from 3. You get 26 points from JK. Hey, that's 2 role players stepping up. Jimmy and Draymond, what's going on, bro? I thought I was going to see playoff Jimmy tonight. We didn't get playoff Jimmy. Jimmy just looked. It just looks like the injuries are just the stuff, all the stuff, the nagging stuff is just catching up with the team. The older players specifically. Draymond getting barbecued by Julius Randle. That was not on my bingo board. Draymond getting deep fried by Julius effing Randle. It's crazy. Players like Julius Randle, Draymond used to have in shackles. Just locked in Azkaban, bro. The fact that Draymond's getting cooked by Randle, regression. I mean, Draymond is 35. Maybe it's regression, man. But usually players like Randle don't give Draymond trouble. those are actually like the perfect type of matchups for him because those type of archetype of players, they think they can bully Draymond because he's a little smaller, so they try to like overpower him. It turns into like some bad shots where Draymond's contesting. They're inefficient. Draymond can great closing out on 3-point shooting, so dudes think they're open for a shot. Draymond closes out, contests it, bad shot. Usually dudes like Randall, Draymond has that locked up, but they couldn't contain him. Randall had his way. He had his way. And that's game right there, bro. Like, you're not winning this game without Steph if Randall's going to have his way and just ragdoll everybody. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. Like, just seeing Randall just destroy this front line. Yeah. Curtain call. What's going on, y'all? What's up, Zen? I see you. Berserk. What's poppin', Brody? I see you, brother. Yeah, man. But yeah, shout out to Pods, man. He came through. Shout out to JK. His last 3 games, he gave the Warriors 23 plus in every game. He had a 30-point game in there. Moody had a terrible series. He finished it a little strong, 12 points, 2 steals in his game. Jimmy only had 17 points on 4 for 11 shooting. I don't expect Jimmy to, with this spacing that the Warriors got, they're starting this. First of all, Steve Kerr still started TJD, and then he started him in the second half in the third quarter. I just don't understand. Just start Kuminga. Like, why are we starting games at a disadvantage? TJD's not doing nothing. He's just out there. He's literally just out there. He's not doing anything. He does nothing. Coming into this game, with TJD starting, the Warriors were 0-2 the last 2 games with TJD in the starting lineup, and in those minutes they had a net rating of -22. The last 2 games they had a net rating of -22 with TJD in the starting lineup, and Steve Kerr said, "Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Why not? Let's get TJD out there. He's not doing anything. He's not contributing anything, but let's just get him out there." And then once you didn't get nothing from him in the first half, third quarter starts, you got an option. You want to start Kuminga or you want to start TJD? Let's just start TJD again. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. I just don't understand. This is one of those games where you just play Kuminga the whole game. He's the only dude that basically, the T-Wolves couldn't really guard Kuminga. Naz Reid was just, his ankles was barbecue chicken. He couldn't stay in front of Kuminga. Kuminga was just blowing by him at will, and Naz Reid either had to let him go or foul him. Nobody on the T-Wolves can handle JK. Just play him the whole game. You've been DNPing him. He's been resting. He got all his energy. He's a young buck. Just play him the whole game. You need a scoring. With no Steph, your margin for error offensively is literally nothing. Jimmy only took 11 shots. He's obviously not feeling right. He's passing the ball still. In a do-or-die game, Jimmy's passing the ball. So you know what? Just play Kuminga. Just play him the whole game. It is what it is, man. We got a Guy Santos appearance this game. Guy Santos didn't do much. We got a Quinton Post appearance. Quinton Post didn't do much. Quinton Post's 3-point shot in the playoffs, man. If somebody could pull up those numbers for me, that would be lovely. Somebody pull up Quinton Post 3-point shooting in the playoffs. I swear the dude's shooting like 2%. I haven't seen one 3-point shot go down like the entirety of the playoffs. I know you're a young buck. I know you're a little nervous, but come on, bro. Come on, man. You gotta hit some of these shots, bro. Like, you was a 40% shooter in the regular season, man. Like, you're not. I need to see something. So Quinton Post, no show. We got a Guy Santos appearance. He didn't do much. We got a Pat Spence appearance. He didn't do much. I actually think Pat Spence could have played a little more. But yeah, man, the season's over. The Warriors went. Nathaniel, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the donation. Nathaniel said Kuminga has been shining these last few games. It would hurt so much if we let him walk in the offseason. What do you think? So here's the thing. Let's break down the Kuminga situation real quick. Joe Lacob is the biggest Kuminga fan in the world. Joe Lacob looks at Kuminga as basically, when Joe Lacob sees Kuminga, I think he legit sees like Jason Tatum, like future Jason Tatum or something. Like that's literally what Joe Lacob sees when he sees Kuminga. So there's like a Kuminga piece that came out today. It's always a Kuminga piece on game day. It's like these reporters like save their little Kuminga little tidbits and then drop it like 5 hours before the game just to get the stuff going, all the conversations heating up. So basically, there was a report that Steve Kerr was incensed with Kuminga earlier in the season for essentially waving off Steph Curry to call his own number, and that's what contributed to Kuminga's minutes basically going from what it was to DNPs. He was breaking up. He was basically waving off Steph. Like Steph would come trying to get the ball, Kuminga would look at him, wave him away, and be like, "I'm getting mine," and just get into his little bag and try to cook. And Steve Kerr wasn't having it, and he benched him. There was like a little bit of a push and pull with the front office, with the, let's say, not the front office, with the ownership, Joe Lacob and Steve Kerr. There was a push and pull. Lacob wanted Kerr to play his guy. Kerr wanted to teach him a lesson or just not deal with it since he's not abiding by the, the pecking order. There's a pecking order. Steph Curry's that guy. Steph Curry, the greatest player in franchise history. He's basically, he's Michael Jordan to this franchise. Top 3 player all time. I don't care what nobody say. So when Steph Curry is asking for the ball, I don't care if he's ice cold 0 for 20. Give him the ball. Nobody should be waving off Steph Curry. That's ridiculous. So we get that. But I do think Steve Kerr just went way overboard with just benching him. Because this team ain't talented enough to bench your third best. This team isn't talented enough to bench your third most talented offensive player. After Steph and Jimmy, Kuminga is your third best offensive talent. You should be grooming him. You should be grooming him as your third option for the playoff run, not trying to teach him a lesson and bench him. So obviously, when Kuminga's waving off Steph to call his own number, there has to be some level of consequence. Like, yeah, okay, maybe you bench him for a few games or whatever, but to bench him like basically the entirety of the playoffs until you basically got into a position where you were basically begging Kuminga to try to save you now. Once Steph went down, they were basically begging Kuminga to save us. It went from Steph save us to Kuminga save us because they couldn't score without him. The moment Steph went out, it was on Kuminga, all right, buddy, we need 25 points from you. Please save us. And it's just like, it's bro, you go from not playing this kid to all of a sudden now you're throwing him out there because you have no choice. And now you actually need him to score desperately for you to even have a shot. That goes to show this team ain't talented enough to pull the stunt you did in the first place by benching him and DNPing him. You can't do that. This team ain't stacked up top to bottom, bro. It was a bad miscalculation on Steve Kerr's part. He took his little punishment or doghouse way too far. And that's what it is. So in terms of how it's going to play out, how I think it's going to play out, I think Kuminga's going to sign an offer sheet with another team. For those of y'all who don't know, Kuminga's a restricted free agent. The difference between a restricted free agent and an unrestricted free agent, basically Kuminga has the freedom to sign a contract with a different team. But the Warriors also have the ability to match that contract. And if they match the contract, Kuminga has no say. Like he has to report to the Warriors. They own his contract. They own his rights to an extent. He can't just say, "No, I don't want to come." He has to come back. So I think Kuminga's gonna sign a contract elsewhere, probably the Brooklyn Nets or a team like that. There's not too many teams with cap space, and I don't know how many teams are necessarily interested in giving Kuminga $30 million. But these last 3 games, Kuminga definitely made a case for himself to bet on his upside, to bet on the fact that he's just not a good fit in this Warriors system. So another team that plays a more traditional type of offense, that can use a wing that's athletic, that can get downhill, that can finish at the rim, that has upside. Like we saw this game. This is the semifinals. The T-Wolves are a pretty solid team. They couldn't really guard Kuminga. You know what I'm saying? Like the last 3 games of the series, Kuminga dropped 23 plus in every game. They couldn't really guard him. He was getting to the rim fairly easily. A team that has Rudy Gobert. And he was finishing. So there's probably a team out there that watched these last 3 games and he said, you know what? Let's just take a dice roll on this kid. He has the archetype, 6'7", 225 pounds, top 1% athlete, got some finishing ability. A team can very well just look at the situation in Golden State and just think, okay, well, it's not necessarily working in that offensive system, but we run a way more basic offense. Let's roll the dice. So all it takes is one team to offer him a contract, and I think Kuminga's. It doesn't matter what team offers him a contract, he's signing it. Like I think Kuminga at this point, Kuminga would probably rather play for any other team besides the Warriors, as long as they're offering him a more clear role, and a more featured role. So whether that be a tanking team or a rebuilding team, don't matter to JK. He's gonna sign that contract. So yeah, and then also if I was JK, I wouldn't want to play for Steve Kerr, to be honest with you. Like we're 4 years into his career. He's getting yanked around. At some point, as a young dude, you wanna spread your own wings, man. Like you don't want to come off the bench forever. Kuminga's a talented dude. He's seen all these dudes in his draft class getting starting roles, getting opportunity to make mistakes and play through mistakes and play 30-plus minutes every night, guaranteed, penciled in. And he's like, yo, I'm not capable of that. I can't play 30 minutes a night and do what Jalen Green's doing, stinking up the place. Jalen Green's was in his draft class. He's making $30 million a year, and he stink the place up against the Warriors. He's trash. He's Jordan Clarkson. And he has it's crazy. He has no fear of losing his starting job. So I can see JK's perspective where he's like, yo, the moment I see that bag from a different team, that contract is signed immediately. And if the Warriors match it, they match it. I think the Warriors are not going to let him just walk away, though. I can say that for a fact. The Warriors, even if the Warriors want to move on from Kuminga and think it's best if they just move on, they're not going to do that by just letting him sign with another team and not matching. What they're going to do is they're going to match the contract, they're going to bring him back, and then they're going to try to trade him. They're going to try to trade him to get assets back. You can't just let him walk away. He was a 7th overall pick. He was a lottery pick. You passed up on a lot of future All-Stars to draft him. You passed on Sengun. You passed on Trey Murphy. You passed on Jalen Johnson. You passed on a lot of players. You passed on Franz Wagner. That's crazy. You can't just let him walk for nothing. That's an absolute disaster. After you whiffed on the number 2 pick with James Wiseman and essentially got nothing out of him, to let the 7th overall pick the next year walk for nothing is a disaster. So Kuminga's gonna sign a contract with a different team. The Warriors are gonna match it. Or option number 2 is the Warriors and Kuminga work on a sign and trade to a team. They sign and trade him to a team. They get back assets, and then both sides can just go their separate ways and do their own thing. A prime candidate would be the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets were shopping Cam Johnson this season. The asking price was too high for teams. They ended up not getting a deal done. But there was a report that the Brooklyn Nets were willing to trade Cam Johnson to the Warriors if they included Kuminga in that Melton trade. So the Warriors basically traded Melton for Dennis Schroeder. The Nets were like, look, we'll give y'all Cam Johnson too if you add in Kuminga. And the Warriors were like, no thanks. We're going to keep Kuminga. We're going to see what we got. We're going to see how it looks with Jimmy. So the Warriors said pass, and Cam Johnson, other teams were still trying to get him. The OKC was trying to get him. I think the Bucks was trying to get him. I think the Magic were trying to get him, but the Nets asking price at the time was too high. I think they wanted 2 first-round picks for Cam Johnson, either 1 first-round pick and a talented young player, or 2 first-round picks. So no teams was messing with it. And so they passed. So now the offseason's here. The Warriors have an opportunity to circle back and be like, look, y'all have interest in Kuminga. We know that because we had conversations at the trade deadline. We know you guys are intrigued by Kuminga. We like the idea of bringing in Cam Johnson. Let's work something out. We will sign and trade you Kuminga to you guys in return for Cam Johnson. So there's a framework in place right there. Now the question is, would the Warriors do that, or are they watching these last 3 games? More importantly, is Joe Lacob watching these last 3 games and thinking, there's no way in hell I'm trading Jonathan Kuminga for Cam Johnson. I'm keeping him. That's another thing. The Warriors just might say, you know what? We've seen enough from Kuminga these last 3 games. We believe he can play with Jimmy Butler. We believe he can now play next to Jimmy Butler. If we just get some better fitting pieces around them with more spacing, we can make it work. We're not trying to trade our young wing that's 22 years old. We've seen these last few games. Jimmy is just can't get nothing going, looking a little old. Now he is injuries and whatnot, but Kuminga, the younger guy, the younger wing, he's getting off. He's blowing by dudes. He's getting to the rim, and you see it's useful having a young wing that can kind of complement Jimmy Butler when he's having those games where he's looking a little creaky, looking a little old, looking a little passive. You got Kuminga, who's definitely going to be on go, trying to get to the rim in those games where Jimmy's not. So there's a few options. Just to recap, the Warriors can either match an offer sheet Kuminga signs with a different team. They can sign and trade him to a team and get back assets, or they can just keep him and just give him a contract that they both agree on and just keep him. So, yep. Shogo, I appreciate you for the donation, my guy. Front office has lots to think about this offseason. Yeah, there's going to have to be a lot of adjustments, man. The number one priority is more shooting. This roster, when you take Steph off this roster, the three-point shooting talent is subpar. It's subpar. The Warriors' best three-point shooter this series is Buddy Hield. And that, okay, Buddy Hield, great. After that, first of all, if Buddy Hield's your best shooter, that's a problem. Number 2, after Buddy Hield, who was their best shooter? Draymond Green. I saw one play last game where the Warriors ran a play to get Draymond Green an open 3. Draymond Green. I think Paz had set like a screen on the wing for Draymond. Draymond came off the low screen. And I give him credit. He made it. He did make the 3. The action that was ran for him for a 3-point shot, he made it. But that goes to tell you how down bad this Warriors roster is in terms of 3-point shooting talent. Where Draymond Green, in a playoff series, basically do or die, gotta have it games. They're running plays to get Draymond Green open for 3. That's crazy. It's absolutely insane. This team is in desperate need of an influx of talent, shooting ability, front court stability. The front court needs to be completely reshuffled. The front court, Draymond Green, man, his inability to keep defenses honest from 3, as the years go on, and as the Warriors' talent just gets, dwindles over time, it becomes harder and harder to overcome. You can get away with it when you had KD and Klay out there next to Steph, and then you got Iggy out there and Livingston. Now you got Steph, you got Jimmy who can't shoot, and then who else? You can't. It's harder and harder to get away with it, man. So the Warriors got to do a complete reshuffle of the front court. I think, obviously, you're not going to trade Draymond. I explained it in my last stream why the Warriors aren't going to trade Draymond. unless they're getting a superstar back and he's in there for matching salary. But Draymond has no value around the league. He's always going to be more valuable to the Warriors than he is to a different team. Nobody's lining up to trade for Draymond. He's 35 years old, going on 36 next season. He's an offensive liability. He's a Steph merchant. If you put Draymond on the team where he's not benefiting off of Steph, it's gonna look real ugly, man. It's gonna be real ugly. So for those of y'all thinking, let's just trade Draymond and get back like another player, that's like, if you trade Draymond, it's basically a salary dump. Or you might possibly get a role player back, like a rotation player back, that's matching salary that might be able to play. But you're not getting a haul back for Draymond. It's not happening. So I'm under the assumption that Draymond will be back next season. So you got Draymond back. I think Quinton Post is a keeper, 7-footer, sharpshooter. Obviously, this playoff run, he had piss running down his legs. He couldn't make a shot. None of them were anywhere close to hitting the rim, to going in. I'm gonna give him a pass for being a rookie. Put it like that. I'm gonna give him a pass, but come next season, if he's a sniper in a regular season and he's scared in the playoffs and he's shooting like this again, then I'm like, all right, bro, that's fake shooter or something, because that's unacceptable. But we'll give him a pass. He's a rookie. He's a young dude. Now, he is 24 years old, a 24-year-old rookie, but I'm gonna give him a pass. It is what it is. But I would keep Draymond. I would keep Quinton Post. TJD can go, bro. TJD's not good. I wouldn't be actively just trying to just get rid of TJD just to get rid of him. I would keep him as a third string, but he's clearly behind Draymond and Post in the pecking order at center. And the Warriors need to bring in another dude, so he should be down. He should be bumped down to like the fourth in the pecking order. So he's super cheap. I think he's only getting paid like $1 million per year for like the next 2 seasons. You know, he doesn't really do anything that great. He's athletic and he can catch a oop, but he's not good. He's a solid, like, okay depth piece to help you get through the regular season. Just a young dude that can eat up minutes, you know, can block a shot every now and then, can grab a board, but he's not that good. I would not be heartbroken if TJD had to be included in the trade to reshuffle the front court. I wouldn't lose a minute of sleep. So Draymond can stay, Quinton Post can stay, TJD can go if need be. I would keep Guy Santos. Number one, he's a 6'8" body. He's cheap. He's dirt cheap. They're paying him less than $1 million for like the next 2 or 3 seasons. Like if he's not good in the game like he was tonight, okay, you're not paying him anything. He's a 23-year-old player. He has those young legs. He can help you get through the regular season. He can give you spot minutes in playoffs, in certain playoff series. His 3-point shot is a little inconsistent, but I think overall I would consider him like a 36-ish% 3-point shooter, which, you know, it's not bad. It's not like amazing, but it's not bad. It's not like he's like shooting 33%, 36%, you know, it's decent. So I would keep Guy. I would keep Draymond. I would keep Post. And then they gotta try to get a starting center in there. Preferably a starting center that can shoot. The dream scenario is Miles Turner, but why in the world would the Pacers let Miles Turner walk? They're on their way to the Eastern Conference Finals. They just dog walked the Cavs. Miles Turner took Jared Allen's lunch money. Jared Allen just took his lunch money, bullied him. He's a rare archetype of player, a stretch 5 that's a rim protector. That's extremely rare. You rarely see that archetype. It's hard to find. So there's no way they're letting him walk. So the Warriors don't really have a chance of getting him. The options after that, I gotta look at the free agent. List. I haven't really looked at it, but it's definitely nowhere near as attractive as a Miles Turner potential signing. So Warrior fans, the Warriors are on a budget, by the way. Like they're not signing no $20 million per year center that's gonna come completely alter this team. Like they might possibly at most have the MLE, the mid-level exception, to offer a team. Depending on how things play out with Kuminga's contract, they might possibly have $12 million to spend on one player, one free agent. So can you get a starting level center that might be able to stretch the floor for $12 million? Possibly. I mean, I haven't really looked at the free agent list of big men, but you might possibly get somebody with that. So we'll see. If y'all want to throw out some suggestions in the chat, Jakob Poeltl. I mean, Jakob Poeltl, how much is he getting paid? That would depend on his contract and how much the Raptors would demand. Because I'm not giving up like multiple first round picks for Jakob Poeltl. It's not happening. I don't think he's all that great. Like he's a good center, but I wouldn't give up. Like if the Raptors are like, yo, 2 first round picks, not happening. In terms of Looney, I would keep Looney on a vet's minimum. I would have a conversation with Looney this offseason. In a free agent pitch, I'd be like, yo, Loon dog, we love you, bro. You've been with this team. You've grown with this team. Like, you've had a wonderful career, like, considering all the injuries. We stuck with you. You've been a Warrior your whole career. But all we got for you is the vest minimum. That's all we got. Also, it's going to be a lot of nights where you ain't playing, bro. Like, simple as that. It's going to be some nights where you're not playing. The offensive liability. I'm tired of the offensive liabilities, man. I'm tired of it. We already got Draymond out there that's going to be playing like 25 to 30 minutes a game, who's an offensive liability. He's going to be 36 years old. I don't want too many more of those dudes on the roster. Like, I'm just not – I'm over that. I'm over it, bro. It's too much. So, Looney, if you want to come back and play for the vest minimum and, you might not play most nights, you might come in every now and then for specific matchups, hey, I'll welcome Looney back, but only for the vest minimum. If he wants to explore the market and see what he can get, hey, man, do what you got to do. If it's more than the vest minimum, hey, we're happy for you. Thank you for your service. But I'm not paying Looney a penny over the vest minimum. It's a wrap. Dwight Howard. Man, Dwight Howard's like damn near 38 years old, man. I got to let that one go. I agree the Warriors should have signed Dwight Howard years ago. Like, I'm not saying like even like 3 years ago or like 2 years ago. Like 2 years ago, Howard was playing in like China or Taiwan or something, wherever he was playing at. It was kind of a joke, whatever, but he's still a big body, strong as hell, rebounding presence. He still has some decent athleticism. Look at DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan on the Nuggets. He still gets spot minutes, and he's he's cooked, but like he can give you spot minutes every now and then. He's not gonna get out there getting pushed around, and he's not a punk. Like DeAndre Jordan, he's old as dirt and he's washed and he's cooked, but he ain't no punk, and he's a vet. He knows how to play. The Warriors should have. I think they probably should have signed Howard a few years ago. Now Howard's what, 38? I think that shit may have sailed, man. Might be a wrap for that. Steven Adams, it might be a name to look at for that mid-level exception, $12 million contract range. The only thing with that, the only problem, the Rockets will be able to easily match that and give him more. Since they have his rights, they have more flexibility to give him a better contract. Also, Texas doesn't have income state tax. So even if the Warriors were somehow able to give him the same contract as the Rockets, he would technically be making more if he stayed with the Rockets because the income tax wouldn't be taken out of his paycheck. So that's something to keep in mind. Steven Adams will be a great addition. I just don't see the Rockets just letting him walk, especially to the Warriors out of pettiness. If they hear the Warriors about to sign him, they'll probably just up the contract, give him a few extra mil just to please him and sway him to stay. Y'all are naming strictly bums. I mean, there ain't too many options, bro. It ain't too many options, man. Dwight Howard does TikTok lives reading the Bible now. That's crazy. That's crazy. All right, Draymond, y'all know no one is guarding him. Can we move Jimmy? Move Jimmy for what? Y'all got this like shiny object syndrome where y'all just want to just shuffle players and make trades, and the trade had to be right. Yeah, Jimmy didn't have a great showing, but he did bust his ass literally. Like we seen it. Like obviously for us as like the fans watching the game, it's easy for us to be like, oh, well, you're on the court, like we expect you to perform. Go be playoff Jimmy. It's easy to say that, but at the same time, like, bro, if the dude's playing through an injury and there's zero space on the court, like the Warriors are running a two big lineup. The Warriors are starting TJD and Draymond next to him. And then, like, Pies, who up until this game couldn't make a shot. And then Buddy, who's inconsistent. Like, come on. Like, what do you expect Jimmy to do? Two big lineup, like, up front. You got Gobert just sagging off of Draymond, just camping the paint, just wreaking havoc. Dude looks like Patrick Willis at linebacker, just in the paint, just blowing everything up. You can't do nothing, bro. Like, Gobert was terrorizing the Warriors defensively. He was not. He had no respect for Draymond. The dude was just in the paint, just mucking up the place. Like nobody. It was a wrap, bro. Like Jimmy's not about to put his head down and just muscle to the rim when you got like 7'2" Gobert just creeping, just lurking in the paint under the rim, just cherry picking, just creeping. Refs ain't calling 3-second calls no more. Dude's just waiting for him. It's not happening. Like I understand. Oh, let's just move Jimmy. Let's trade him for somebody else. Bro, we're paying Jimmy $60 million. What are you going to get back of value in return for Jimmy? If you try to move Jimmy, you're going to get a lesser player back. It's like the Warriors signed on for Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond for this final era. That's the core for these next 2 years until this window closes. The only thing that's going to change that equation is if Giannis Antetokounmpo says, I want to play with Wardell, Stephen Curry. Make it happen. And if that is the case, everything's on the table. Jimmy Butler, if you got to go to make salaries, to match the salaries for Giannis, you're gone. Draymond, if you got to go to make salaries match for Giannis, you're gone. I'll pack your bags myself. Other than that, it's Steph and Jimmy these next 2 years, and they got to find pieces to put around them. It's as simple as that. You're not getting nothing of value for Jimmy. You're not. The man, he's 35, getting paid $60 million in the next 2 years. It's a wrap. You're not moving Jimmy for nothing of value. Like, Jimmy's a good player, man. Like, I know we were a little disappointed. We didn't see the playoff Jimmy these last few games. But is he not playing compromise? Is he not playing in, like, terrible spacing? For Jimmy to be effective, he needs to have at least some adequate floor spacing around him. Like in those Miami Heat teams, when he was carrying those bums, carrying those scrubs, the one common denominator to all those playoff runs where they overperformed was he was surrounded by shooting. They had Duncan Robinson out there. They had Kyle Lowry out there, Tyler Hero, Max Strus, Gabe Vincent when he could still shoot. They had all these dudes that could shoot. And it's like, yeah, they're scrubs individually, but the formula that the Miami Heat had was, all right, let's surround Jimmy with a bunch of three-point shooting and let him carry us. And if teams teams can't do what they're doing against the Warriors right now, where they're just sagging off of Draymond and they got Gobert dropping his anchor in the paint, just camping and just basically blowing up every driving lane. They couldn't do that. They got Kevin Love out there spotting up. They got Tyler Hero. They got Duncan Robinson, Max Strus. All these shooters, the floor is spaced. You can't do that. Jimmy had all the space to go to work. The Warriors can't replicate that. They don't have the shooting talent to replicate that ecosystem for Jimmy to thrive. So for people saying, "Oh, trade Jimmy, he's trash. Like he's washed," bro, look at the roster. Look at the lineups that he's out there playing with. A two big lineup with TJD and Draymond in a playoff series? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's so bad. Like it's crazy. Folks, calm down on Jimmy. He didn't come here to be the best player on our team. He came here to be second fiddle to Steph and eat off of Steph's advantages like everybody else. Okay, he came here to win the non-Steph lineups and be an extra closer out there next to Steph at the end of games. Now, with that being said, I am disappointed they couldn't get at least one game without Steph. I feel like Jimmy plus this elite defense is enough to get one game. They didn't get it. But we also can't just pretend like Jimmy isn't compromised as well. So, it is what it is, man. HT Stage, you are on this Santi Aldama train like crazy, brother. Yeah, man, Santi Aldama could shoot, bro. I mean, obviously, yeah. If the price is right, the thing is, the Grizzlies hate us. The Grizzlies can't stand us. They're not gonna give us Santi Aldama without trying to tax. They'll be taxing. So like and who knows if they're even shopping Santi? I don't even think they're shopping them. You're gonna overpay for Santi Aldama. I'm not. I'm not overpaying for Santi Aldama because you know the Grizzlies aren't gonna just like. They're not gonna have like a. They're not gonna make a trade with the Warriors in good spirit. It's not happening. They hate us. They envy us. They envy this franchise. You're not getting Santi Aldama without overpaying, and it's just at that point, is it even worth it? Cam Johnson is available, and he's a better version of Santi Aldama. So why not just get Cam Johnson if that's really the case? Santi for Kuminga. I don't even know if I would do that, bro. I don't even know if I would do that. I would have to think. Yeah, I don't know, bro. What do you think about Karis LeVert? He'll be a free agent. LeVert as a backup creator, like a poor man's Jordan Poole, like a poor man's Jordan Poole that could play better defense. Might be solid. What's the matching salary though? That's a question you got to ask yourself. In all these trades, who's the matching salary? I guess you got to throw Buddy Hield in there. How much does LeVert make? Whoever asked that question, post how much LeVert makes so I can get a better understanding of how that trade would look. Let's see. Yeah, Mario, you make a good point. Santi Aldama is similar to Quentin Post. So it's like you already kind of have that archetype of player. You can't play them together because that defense is cooked. I don't really think that necessarily moves a needle as much as you think. I think you just go get Cam Johnson. We know the Nets are interested in Kuminga. We know Cam Johnson's on the market. We know they're willing to do business for Cam Johnson. Santi Aldama, we don't even know if he's available. The Grizzlies aren't gonna want to do business with the Warriors. They're gonna send some petty trade requests, trade proposals. You're gonna have to overpay for a lesser player. So I don't even think that's even worth the hassle, bro. Quinton Post isn't ready. What makes you think Santi Aldama's ready? I saw Santi Aldama getting cooked at times. He's a young player too, man. I don't think Santi Aldama moves the needle all like that. He would be a helpful player. Like his archetype would be a helpful player, but yeah, man. Let's see. Moody, Kuminga, Looney, or trades for a star, or put Pods in replacement for Kuminga for a star with picks. Moody, Kuminga, and Looney for a star. That's not happening. That's not happening. First of all, Looney's a free agent. You can't put him in any trades unless he resigns. Secondly, Kuminga would have to be a sign of trade. So that other team that you're trading a star, that you're trying to get the star from, they're gonna have to be willing to want to pay Kuminga. Which, the moment Kuminga signs his next contract, his value goes down. Kuminga had more value this season because the team that would have traded for him, for example, if the Warriors traded Kuminga at the trade deadline, the team that traded for him would have had a half a season or like a third of the season to evaluate how Kuminga looks with their roster, with their talent, that they already have in place before they make a decision on his next contract. Now, if a team wants Kuminga, they have no time to evaluate how he looks in their system with their players, and they just gotta pay him based off what he did with the Warriors. So not a lot of teams are willing to like just dish out money under those circumstances. Teams are a lot more smarter about giving out money ever since these new ever since they implemented these tax aprons and a second apron and first apron. Teams are a lot more hesitant to just give out money and give out contracts and just take these gambles on young players that aren't, for sure, what's the word? For sure, like home run talent. Josh Selassie said, JK for Jeremy Grant. Dude, I'm not a fan of Jeremy Grant, man. It's like, I guess that's like such. I feel like that move is like a move you can kind of make anytime. But Jeremy Grant is like, he is shooting better from three. I think he's been like a 40% 3-point shooter the past few seasons, if not close to it. So he can shoot. He's not. He doesn't get no boards. If Kerr's frustrated with Kuminga's rebounding, he's gonna be frustrated with Jeremy Grant's because he's a 30-year-old vet and he's doing the same things on the boards that Kuminga does with no upside to improve because he hasn't done it to this point in his career. He can score though. He's a little expensive. $25 million a year for Jeremy Grant. I don't know about that. Yeah, I might pass on that one, bro. Tyus Jones, Monty Morris, Karis LeVert, Alexander Walker, Paul Reed, Trey Lyles. Trey Lyles is cool. Karis LeVert is cool depending on what they would have to give up in salary matching. Tyus Jones is cool. Decent names in there. Decent names for sure. Bobby Portis, King Corey. What's up, bro? I see you. King Corey said Bobby Portis and Cam Johnson. Yeah, Bobby Portis would be nice. Bobby Portis would be solid, man. I wouldn't mind Bobby Portis. He would add a dynamic to the front court. The spacing, the defensive rebounding, another goon to the front line. Provides some size. He's not like huge. He's 6'10", big body. He doesn't necessarily fit in the Warriors' passing system because once the ball touches fingertip, it's going up every time. There's no extra pass coming. If you pass to Bobby Portis and you got Steph coming off a screen to his left, that's going to be even more wide open. He ain't making that pass. He's getting it up. It's going up every single time. He is a black hole. He's like a legit black hole offensively. But he does hit threes at a decent clip for a big man. So we'll see. Yeah. Looking at the options, it's cooked. Yeah, it's not no perfect players. The Warriors are gonna have to nail every single free agent signing, like they did in 2022 when they signed Otto Porter Jr., GP2, and Bielitsa. At the time, before the season started, teams were laughing at other fan bases were laughing at the Warriors. They're like, ha ha ha. Otto Porter Jr.'s washed. He ain't got no back. They were like, Bielitsa's trash, and GB2's a G League player. Ha 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 ha. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, the Warriors are dog walking teams in the playoffs. And Otto Porter Jr. is one of the most valuable role players in the league at a vest minimum contract bargain. Bielitsa giving you minutes in the finals, making big plays in spot minutes. GP2 had Jaylen Brown in shackles, playing like all NBA first team defense. It's Juan T, spot minutes, gave you some energy, help you get through the regular season. Those type of signings where they just basically nailed every signing for the price with the financial limitations that they were under. That's the type of offseason they gotta have. They gotta nail all these signings. They gotta make at least one trade, and they gotta hope that a core of Steph, Jimmy, and Draymond surrounded by more adequate 3-point shooting and more front court talent and more size is enough. The Warriors lost in the second round, but do any of us believe they would have lost to the T-Wolves if Steph was playing? I think they win a series in 5 if Steph plays. So you're telling me that this team, as flawed as it is, with this incomplete roster, under the circumstances they had to play under, having to basically treat the second half of the season like every game mattered to make up ground. They were 27-28 when they made the trade for Jimmy Butler, and they had to play every game basically like it was just like do or die just to catch up, and they still ended up in a play-in. Had to play that extra game, all those extra miles in their legs, playing heavy minutes. I don't think Steph basically couldn't play any. Steph and Draymond basically couldn't play no back-to-backs. The rest of after they got Jimmy, they couldn't afford it. They may have played a few back. I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Steph and Jimmy couldn't rest on any back-to-backs the rest of the season. They basically had to play every back-to-back. There may have been a few here and there that they rested, but for the most part, they had to empty the gas tank that much more. You get the extra game with the play-in. You go 7 in the first round to the Rockets. That doomed them right there, because going 7 in the first round, and then all of a sudden it's T-Wolves series. The moment you beat the Rockets in Game 7, you fly from Houston straight to Minnesota, and you're playing. You get one off day, and you're right back at it. The T-Wolves are waiting for you because they disposed of the trash-ass Lakers in 5 games. So they're just at home waiting, just lurking, waiting for you to come up, pull up on them. That series starts immediately. Great scheduling, Adam Silver. That series starts immediately. The Warriors are back at it. Every other day, they're playing. Steph pulls a hammy. The first time in his career he pulls a hammy, by the way. Is that because he's 37 years old? Is that because the Warriors' schedule was just ridiculously stupid and they were playing every other day for like 2 weeks? And they had to exert more energy down the stretch of the regular season just to catch up? I'm sure all that played a factor. But with all that being said, if Steph doesn't get injured, the Warriors are in the Western Conference Finals. If Steph doesn't get injured, the Warriors are in the Western Conference Finals with this flawed roster. And at that point, anything can happen. Whether it's the OKC Thunder or the Denver Nuggets, I think the Warriors have a good shot against either one of them. And if the Warriors get past one of those teams, all they got to do is beat either the Knicks or the Pacers. It's going to be either the Knicks or Pacers in the finals. So the Western Conference Finals is essentially the finals. So if Steph doesn't get injured, they're one of the best 2 teams remaining. The Warriors and whoever wins between OKC and Denver, the Warriors are one of the 2 best teams remaining with the flawed roster, playing on their gas tank on E. So if you make a few tweaks and you nail a few free agent signings and you make one key trade, who's to say this team with a little more injury luck, just a little more healthy, who's to say that they're not in the finals? You never know. The Warriors effed up not closing the Houston series in 5. Yeah, that was basically their season. The moment they tricked off Game 5, or was it game? They're up 3-1. Yeah, the moment they tricked off Game 5, bro, and then they proceeded to just get smoked in Game 6, that pretty much ended their season. It didn't end their season right then and there because they survived the series, but that pretty much ended their season. Just having to play those extra 2 games and then having to go straight to Minnesota and get no rest in between, that pretty much cost them their season. And that's probably why Steph pulled his hamstring. Does Steph pull his hamstring if they close in 5 and they got 4 days of rest? Probably not. Probably not. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Kerr ran Steph and Jimmy 40 minutes a game, and a Rockets series went to 7. Exactly. Well, Kerr had to play Steph and Jimmy 40 minutes a game. I mean, the series went 7 with them playing 40 minutes a game, so that goes to show he didn't have a choice. So I don't blame him for doing that. In the playoffs, your star players got to play 40 minutes. It is what it is. I spoke on Kuminga earlier in the stream, so just if you missed that part, split head, just go back and watch that after. But I did like a pretty long segment on Kuminga earlier, so I don't really want to rehash that too much. But yeah. Yeah, man, the Warriors, they're in a tough spot. Well, I don't think they're in a tough spot. I think they're in a good spot. Financially, they're in a tough spot because Steph's getting paid 60 mil, Jimmy's getting paid 60 mil, Draymond's getting paid 25 mil. So that's a huge portion of your payroll right there, which doesn't leave much room for the rest of the roster to fill it out with quality role players. But Mike Dunleavy has proven that he's sneaky good with these little marginal moves. He's good at finding gems in the draft. The Warriors do not have a first-round pick this offseason, but they do have the 41st pick, which is in the second round. I think that's in high enough of a range to where Mike Dunleavy could find like a solid little gem. So I expect the Warriors to use that pick, that 41st pick. I would assume they're gonna go big man. They also might just go best player available because it's just like you can't be too picky in the second round. It's just, all right, best player available. If that's a guard, it's a guard. But they definitely got to get a more of an influx of talent in the front court because Draymond out there as your best option at center, I'm tired of it, bro. I'm tired of these teams not guarding the Warriors. I'm tired of them not guarding Draymond. I'm tired of teams sagging off and just daring him to shoot. And it has to be some changes, man. Has to be some changes. A player that I would love. So here's the thing. There might be some unforeseen moves that we don't see now but might be available. For example, the Boston Celtics. The Celtics just lost Jason Tatum to an Achilles tear. They're not winning the chip next season. Their team is going I think they have the most expensive team in NBA history. And if not, it will be next season. So they almost certainly will make a trade. They have to. Their payroll is going to be just astronomically insane. They have to make a trade. Porzingis might be on a trading block. They might trade Porzingis. He's dealing with some mystery illness, which is why his minutes has been erratic. This series against the Knicks, and he's coming off the bench. He got sick like a month ago, and it's like they don't know what's going on. He can't breathe on the court, so that's weird. And he's always injured too, so you got to kind of keep that in mind. Chat, how would y'all feel about Porzingis? I don't know what his contract is looking like right now. That would play a huge factor. But y'all let me know in the chat, how would y'all feel about Porzingis? If not Porzingis, how would y'all feel about the Warriors trying to poach Al Horford? I think Al Horford, I can't remember I think he's making like 10 mil, or his contract might be up. He might be a free agent, honestly, after this season. Al Horford is either going to retire. I think he might retire, honestly. Horford might retire. He's like pushing 40. But if he didn't retire and the Celtics didn't want to bring him back, I mean, I wouldn't mind Al Horford in the rotation if he wasn't expensive. Now, he's old, but he can hit threes. You can't just leave him. You can't guard him like teams guard Draymond. He's smart. If you put him in his system next to Draymond, I think he could be a decent cog defensively. He still moves his feet better than most big men, which is kind of crazy. People are saying no to Horford. Yeah, Horford's 38. But as a bench big, would you rather have Al Horford or Looney off the bench? That's basically what I'm implying. Like Al Horford would kind of be like the Looney replacement. Again, he's 38, but you can't leave him out there. You can't leave him. He can hit threes at a good clip. He's old, but he can still move his feet laterally, surprisingly. He's a smart player. He has insane amounts of experience. He's been in the league forever. I wouldn't start him, but off the bench in those loony minutes, I wouldn't mind Al Horford. Let's see. Richard said, thank you, Richard. I appreciate the donation, brother. Richard said, Draymond is the Michael Jordan of technicals. Giannis to the Dubs. He was at Curry's party this year. Should I talk about Giannis, y'all? Let's talk about Giannis. All right. Before I talk about Giannis, y'all saying no to Horford and no to Porzingis. Y'all don't want no parts of them dudes. I respect it. Porzingis is glass man and Horford's pushing 40. I get it. I feel it. He might, and Horford just might retire anyway, so moot point. Anyways. Richard asked about Giannis. I would do everything in my power to get Giannis. Anybody can go besides Steph, obviously. But besides Steph, anybody can go for Giannis. I'll do whatever it takes. I'll trade every draft pick we have. Every young player's gone for Giannis. That means Kuminga, Pods, Moody. If the Bucks say, yo, we'll trade y'all Giannis, but we want everything. Everything. I'd be like, bet. Who y'all want? Everybody? Bet. Pods, sorry, buddy. Kuminga, Moody, everybody, bro. And that's what it would take. First of all, the Warriors can't outright outbid other teams for Giannis. The Rockets have a better package. The Spurs have a better package. The Mavericks have a better package. Honestly, if the Mavs really wanted Giannis, all they got to do is offer Cooper Flag. They won that rigged draft lottery. By the way, that was rigged. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so obvious that the draft lottery is rigged. They trade Luka to the Lakers and then get gifted the first round pick, the first overall pick in the next draft. That's insane. They had like a 1.8% chance to get the first round pick. Of course they get it. Rigged. Anyways, the Warriors can't out. There's at least five teams that can outbid the Warriors straight up. That's if the Warriors include every asset that they could possibly trade. There's at least 5 teams that can give a better offer. What it comes down to is Giannis saying, yo, Milwaukee, I want to play with Wardell, Stephen Curry. Honor my request. Trade me to the Warriors. That's the only scenario where Giannis coming to the Warriors is fathomable. Because you got to think, usually when superstars demand a trade, specifically to a certain team, they usually get their way. For the most part, they get their way. Now, Giannis, having spent his whole career with the Bucks, they drafted him, they developed him, he's turned into the best player in their franchise history. They did have Kareem. They did have younger Kareem, but that was like in like the 70s. Whatever, bro. Like, in the past 50 years, Giannis is the best player in franchise history. He won them a championship. He won them their first championship since 1971. He's won an MVP for their team. He won an MVP while playing for their team. The city's embraced him. He's basically, to that franchise, to that city, he's basically what Kobe Bryant was to the Lakers. Now, Giannis only won one championship. I get it. But for that city, that's down bad in terms of like success, in terms of superstars, in terms of like homegrown talent. Giannis is all that and some for that franchise. So he's earned a lot of just the fact that he delivered and got them that championship, the first one in 50 years. That by itself basically made him good for life in Milwaukee. Now, the question is, if, number one, does Giannis want to come play for the Warriors? Number two, will they honor his request if he says only trade me to the Warriors? I think they would. I think if it came down to it, the Bucks will look at all the options on the table and they'll kind of sift through the trade proposals. But at the end of the day, if Giannis tells them, yo, man, I did a whole bunch for y'all. I've been here 13 years. I did a whole lot. Just honor my request. I think they'll give him what he wants. I think they have enough love and appreciation for what Giannis did for that franchise to where they would just give him what he wants, even if it means taking a lesser haul for him. Because it doesn't matter who the Warriors throw into a trade. They can't outbid the Mavericks with Cooper Flag. They can't outbid the Spurs with their they got they got so many first round picks to trade. They got Stephen Castle. They got dudes like they got Vassell, Sohan. They got so many players and draft picks to trade. You got the Rockets. They got a bunch of first round picks. They could trade Alfred and Sang. They can offer Sengun. They can offer Amin Thompson. They can offer Jabari Smith, bro. The Rockets. If the Rockets really wanted him, they can get him. They can offer some combination of Sengun, Amin Thompson, Jabari Smith, Jalen Green, and like 5 first-round picks, some pick swaps. The Warriors can't beat that. It's a wrap. They can't beat that. So, literally, it's all in it's all up to Giannis, basically wanting to play with Steph. So, at least Cooper Flag could be a bust. I mean, he could be, but it's always that allure of the upside when you got these young dudes. So as long as that allure is there, he hasn't played a game in the NBA yet. So that allure is always going to be there. So yeah, can he be a bust? Of course. But I think Cooper Flag is considered one of the more surefire NBA contributors in the past few years in terms of first round picks. He has a high ceiling, or his floor is high. His ceiling for the most part, he does have some things that he needs to improve on to become like that surefire superstar, but his floor is extremely high. When I look at Cooper Flag, I see Andre Karolinko. It's not because they're both white. I just see like a similar type of playing style. High motor, 6'9", good defensive players, got length, defensive playmaker. Not necessarily a great shot creator, but they can scrape by offensively, just getting buckets off of just their hustle, their energy, their length, their athleticism. When I see Cooper Flag, I see Andre Karolinko. That's a damn good player. I don't know how many of y'all remember Andre Karolinko from like the early 2000s, but that's a good comp for him. Let's see. Bison, Dallas already said they won't trade Cooper Flag. I get that, but also things change if Giannis comes knocking and says, I want to play for the Mavericks. They're saying that right now because they have to. They're trying to maintain leverage by making it seem like they're not willing to give up the first round pick. Because the moment they say that they're shopping the first round pick and they're trying to trade the pick, the moment they do that, they lose leverage. So they maintain leverage by saying, "Oh, we're not trading the first round pick." So they're saying what they're supposed to say. So we don't know what they're gonna do yet. Whatever they say, I wouldn't pay any attention to it. It's all just smoke screens and posturing and maintaining leverage. These front offices are smart. They're not gonna. Well, I say that, and then you got Nico Harris and Randall Mavericks, who literally got bent over by Rob Pelinka with the Lakers. Bruce Brown, Andre Drummond, Malcolm Brogdon. I don't think Bruce Brown really solves too many of the Warriors. He doesn't solve too much for the Warriors, and also another guy that can't shoot. I don't know about that, man. I mean, obviously he'd be helpful. He's a wing. He can play defense. He can fit the Warriors system. But another dude that's going to be hot potato passing the ball around the perimeter with Jimmy Butler and Draymond, I don't know about that. Trey Lyles as like a small ball 5 that could hit a shot. I like Trey Lyles. Malcolm Brogdon would be nice. Shot creator, off the bench point guard. I like Brogdon. He can't stay healthy though, but I like Brogdon. Lucky, what's up, brother? Glad you could make it, man. Sai Krishna Magasala. It's going to be Pacers versus OKC. Pacers win it all. That's a bold prediction, my friend. Sheesh. I don't know about that one. Kobe White and Zach Collins. I don't like Zach Collins, bro. He's always injured. I don't mess with Zach Collins. Yeah, Kobe White is like the dream scenario. Kobe White would be nice on the Warriors. Yeah, man. Cooper Flat. Oh wait. Non-P Fiction said, "Could we make it work with a multi-team trade for Giannis?" I mean, yeah, they can make it work, but oh yeah, also any trade for Giannis, Jimmy Butler has to be included because just in terms of salary matching, Giannis makes $60 million. I think Jimmy Butler makes $60 million. If you can't conceivably have Steph, Jimmy, and Giannis all on the same roster making $60 million each. It's just impossible. So for any trade scenario, Jimmy has to go out in a trade for Giannis. So Drew Holiday, I would love Drew Holiday. Bro. The guy's a champion. He's a winner. Will fit the Warriors perfectly in terms of like how he plays. I would love Drew Holiday, man. I mean, obviously it's gonna be a lot of 3-guard lineups if you got Drew Holiday out there, but for Drew Holiday, I'll accept that because he can guard wings easily. So, but yeah, man. Do y'all have any other specific questions y'all wanted to ask me? What do you think about Steve Kerr? Should we fire him or keep him for his last year? Steve Kerr ain't going nowhere, bro. He's here as long as Steph's here. Steve Kerr, Steph, and Draymond are married for this final run. They're not gonna fire Steve Kerr. If the Warriors, basically this Jimmy Butler trade bought this core of Steph, Draymond, and Steve Kerr, they bought this core 2 years. They got 2 more years. That's when Steph's contract expires. That's when Draymond's contract expires. I believe that's when Steve's contract expires. And that's when Jimmy's contract expires. So they lined it all up to where it all... Basically, the Warriors got 2 more years to win a championship before they're pivoting to a rebuild. All the contracts line up that way. I think Steve Kerr goes out with the Warriors and he retires. I think Steve ain't sticking around for no rebuild. The moment Steph calls it quits, Steve Kerr's retiring. I think the Warriors try to get off Jimmy Butler. Draymond retires, goes into television, and the Warriors start the rebuild. But until then, Draymond's not going nowhere. Steve Kerr's not going nowhere. The only thing that would change that equation in terms of moving Draymond or Jimmy is if Giannis wants to come play for the Warriors. Now, if the Warriors got Giannis, obviously we don't know how the roster will look because we don't know how that trade will look. But let's just say the roster is Steph, Giannis, Draymond, and maybe like Steph, Giannis, Draymond, and I don't even know. Maybe like a bunch of vet minimum guys. Maybe you can keep one young dude, like one. Maybe you can keep Quinn Post. Let's say the Warriors, if they trade for Giannis, let's say it's Steph, Giannis, Draymond, and like Quinn Post, and then a bunch of vet minimum guys. Honestly, I'd rock with that over. You give me Steph and Giannis, bro, on the same team. You got Steph dominating from the perimeter. You got Giannis dominating from inside the paint. Teams just aren't gonna have the defensive resources to deploy to defend both of them. You see how teams guard Steph. They overplay him. They sell out. They crash out on the perimeter, trapping, blitzing. But you can't do none of that if Giannis is on the team. If Giannis is the roller on these Steph traps out of the pick and roll, Giannis is dropping 50 a game. 50. Dropping 50. Teams can't do that. So teams are going to try to trap Steph. He's just going to outlet to Giannis. Giannis getting downhill with an advantage. It's curtain call, bro. It's curtain call, bro. He's dunking on everyone's head. Every play is a dunk. So, and then once the defense has to make a decision. All right, this ain't working. Let's just build a wall in the paint to keep Giannis out. All right, well, if you do that, now all of a sudden those defensive resources that you had to try to contain Steph, now Steph's getting loose. Single coverage. He's cooking. So it would be like a pick your poison type thing. It would be Shaq and Kobe, but way more devastating because Steph and Giannis would complement each other way more than Steph and Kobe did. Steph, they would break the league. Steph and Giannis would be absolutely insane, bro. But yeah, man. As of right now, we see how that situation with the Bucks play out. If Giannis wants out, I do think as much as Steph and Steve and Draymond loves Jimmy, if Giannis makes that call and says, "Yo, are you guys interested in bringing me in?" I think everybody, including the front office, including Mike Dunleavy, they all say bye-bye, Jimmy. It's been good. It's been a good 1 year or half a season run. We appreciate you for trying. You came in, you gave us some juice, you gave us some life, But that's Giannis. It's as simple as that, bro. That's Giannis, man. Like you gotta do what you gotta do, bro. Giannis is an all-timer, bro. If you have an opportunity to put Steph and Giannis on the same team, 35-year-old Jimmy Butler is not gonna get in the way of that. It is what it is, man. So it is what it is. Keep going live some days, Holly, even the season is over. Yeah, man, I'll pop in here. We got a long off season, man. We're going to be talking to Warriors, bro. I got y'all. Don't trip. Yeah, man. Y'all got any more questions, man? Any more questions? Would I have traded JK for Alex Caruso when the Bulls offered? I don't know about that one, man. I mean, Caruso's obviously a better player. Yeah, I probably would have. I mean, at the time, no. At the time, I was like, hell no. But with hindsight, seeing what we see now, then yeah. How many years you see being this productive? Who? Jeffrey, for Steph? I think Steph can hold off Father Time just based off how well he played this season, especially once he got like a second option, like a legit second option that could take pressure off him. I think Steph can hold off Father Time for another 2 years. I think he can play at this level or close to it. He might take small, minuscule steps back these next 2 seasons. But I think he can play at a level of an elite player until he's 39. And then after that, I think it's going to be more of a drastic drop-off if he plays until he's 40. And then after that, every season, every year after that he gets older, I just think it's going to get to the point where I think he leaves before that. Steph might. I can see Steph playing until he's 40, and then once he's 40, he's probably just gonna move on to the next phase of his career. Especially if the Warriors aren't competitive, and it's just a bunch of young dudes. I think at that point, Steph would just be like, "All right, I'm gonna retire. I got this business mogul life waiting for me after basketball." I think he just retires in like the next few years. But I think I think everything lines up perfectly. Steph's contract is for 2 more years. I think these next 2 years he has the ability to be the best player on a championship team if he has a sufficient amount of talent surrounding him to supplement him. So, yeah, man. But I think I'm going to call it right here, y'all. Yeah, if Curry wants to come off the bench to extend his career, he definitely could. But I just don't see him doing that. I just think he'll walk away. He'll walk away before that point. But I'm going to call. Do you see Draymond drop off next year? He looks kind of cooked. Yo, Draymond's going to definitely take a step back next season, man. He's going to be 36 years old. So, yeah, man, that's why it's important for the Warriors to like fix the front court and get some talent in the front court. Because Draymond being your best option at center, Draymond being your best big man at 35 years old, that's tough. Draymond being your best big man next year at 36 years old, that's just asinine. They can't. They gotta figure that out, man. Yeah, I'm cool off Josh Giddey, brother. That dude's a weirdo, man. We don't mess with that type of energy over here, bro. So I'm cool off Josh Giddey. He can keep those shenanigans wherever he's at, man. But yeah, I'm gonna call it right here, y'all. I appreciate y'all for pulling up on me, man. I appreciate y'all for picking my stream to spend y'all time after the season, after the game. So it's been a long season, man. Unfortunately, this is the end. But we got an off season, so I'll be popping in, making videos and whatnot, live streaming for the off season. I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging, but I appreciate y'all for pulling up, man. And hopefully the Warriors make some moves in the off season and take advantage of this window. They got these next few seasons to make the best of it with Steph. I'll tell you this right now before I go. The moment Steph retires, we're not going to see a championship for a while. It's just simple as that. Your best opportunity to bank one more championship until God knows how long, possibly decades. Who knows? Like, it takes so long once a team loses a superstar. If you don't immediately get another superstar in the door, some teams, it's some fan bases that have been fans of their team for like 40 years. Still haven't seen a championship. They're still waiting for that generational player to come to their team for them to draft that player. They're still waiting. Imagine waiting 40 years. 40. Some of these franchises have never sniffed a championship. Ever. Teams will kill to have a Steph Curry, man. These teams will kill to have a 37-year-old Steph Curry. To have a 2-year window where you have a player that's good enough to get you over the hump if you get there. And we got him. He's older now, but we still got him. He's still here. He's still capable. 2 more years, man. Maximize this window. Make the best of it. Do what you got to do to make it happen. Because the moment Steph hangs it up, things ain't going to look the same, man. It ain't going to look the same, bro. So folks better appreciate that man while he's here. Because I'm telling you, bro. You see how this game looked with no Steph on the court. And it's a bunch of bums and bozos that can't get a bucket, that can't do nothing. I'm not ready for this rebuild. I know some fans are kind of just like over this era, and they're like, oh, they just want to have all these young dudes and just start the rebuild and just like, oh, there's some fans that like want to trade Steph for draft picks and start the rebuild. What y'all talking about, bro? Like that's insane to me. Like that's crazy, bro. I'm not trading Steph for no damn draft picks. A draft pick is a mystery box player that may or may not be good. It's a complete mystery. You're gonna trade the greatest player franchise has ever seen and possibly will ever have, ever. Steph's the best player that's gonna put on a Warriors jersey for the next 50 years probably, and he's still capable of being that guy to lead you to a championship. And dudes are in a hurry to trade him because they're tired of this era, because their players are old now. It's odd, bro. Very strange. Very, very strange, man. I'm not trading Steph for nothing, bro. I'm not trading Steph. He gonna walk away when he wants to. He's here as long as he wants to, and we rocking with Steph. On that note,